Hello, my name is Eric Bologna, and we're going to talk about the Confederate Conscription Act of 1862. This is monumental. It's the first conscription act of the Civil War. If everybody knows, conscription is, unvolunteered military service. You're not volunteering. You're compulsed to do it. So, first of its kind. And we're going to talk about popular opinion, people's reactions from the great state of North Carolina of this act. So the act was passed on April 16th of 1862, and people's first reaction was either it's a necessary evil or this is unconstitutional. To debunk people's thought of unconstitutional, in the Confederate Constitution that was signed in 1861, it states in Article 2 and Section 8 the powers of Congress. And those powers of Congress confined in subsection 15 and 16, stating that they can call upon a militia from the states to defend the country as a whole, not just individual states. Individual states had the right to train these officers, train this army, but they must provide an army. So that's the unconstitutional aspect. What really had a lot of reaction out of people was not the conscription directly, it was the people that were exempt or the exemptions. The people wanted to be exempt. So, some of the exemptions make sense to most people. They exempt people that would, factory workers, foundry workers, people that were supporting the Confederate army that, and if these go down, the war would end. Also, it was their economy. You have to keep the economy going. What people start not to like is when there wasn't clear parameters for certain positions. For example, if you were a teacher, you were exempt from military service, but there was no parameters for what a teacher was. So all of a sudden, once that was an exemption, people became teachers, and people didn't follow up to show if they actually were teachers prior to this exemption. They found teachers important. You need to teach the younger generation, although they did not exempt people that were in college. So why do they still need the teachers if they're in college? But who knows? So that was one of them. But also, they were kind of iffy about politicians being exempt. They understood, they ran the country and stuff. But things started, read between the lines. It got a little, confusing, especially with the next round of exemptions in October of the same year. They started exempting people based on the number of slaves they owned, which, with that, the average person, especially in North Carolina, is not going to have 20 slaves. That's how many need to be exempt from service. You have 20. And not the average person's not going to do that. So this is when it starts to come from, we're fighting for state rights, we're fighting for independence, one of them being to the poor fighting for the wealthy. And there's a lot of articles you find in newspapers talking about how they're fighting for the wealthy. How is this individual who has 8 children, a small farmer, is taken to go to war? Who's going to provide for his family? Why isn't this individual who's son of a politician or son of a wealthy man, that all of a sudden he has 20 slaves so he can be exempt from military service? He has no family. So it really came down to the poor fighting for the wealthy. Largest outrage. This is North Carolina. So this is targeted. Opinions might be different somewhere else. For example, Virginia, more people own slaves per capita. So might have been less people against the later exemptions. But I just ran over time, and it's taken me like 30 tries to actually get this under 5 minutes. So people did not react well to the exemptions because a lot of them targeted the poor, and it became the thought that the poor are fighting for the wealthy. Thank you.